Hey, guys, welcome back to Thursday Night Live, late night with Lovecraft eZine, late night with Mike Davis. I have so many titles for Thursday night. Thursday Night Live might be the best one. Short and to the point. So, Donna, Kim, Alan, Brian, Dave, hello. Let me know you can see me. Thank you, Dave. Appreciate it. And Dave, thank you for letting me know I had the video set to the incorrect time. So, so yeah, appreciate that. Yeah. Earlier today, I did a live episode with Scott Kinnemore. If you guys didn't catch that, of course you can watch the recorded version. But yeah, oh, okay, there we go. I think I forgot to turn off YouTube ads for the live thing. My bad. Let me know if it's fucking things up because if it is, I'll make doubly sure it doesn't happen again. And Kim, let me know what it looks like from your end of things or anyone else. What happened? Did it show the ad before I started? You know, I don't know. Um, I have a very rational hatred of ads, period. But okay, thanks, Alan. That's not too bad. Uh, but it's helping to pay the Lovecraft Easing bills. Now, Logan and I pay just a very small amount. I don't know what it is, like $5 a month or something, and you never get ads when you watch YouTube ever. I probably would not have done this on my own, but Logan watches so many YouTube videos, and he asked me if we could do this several years ago, and I was like, sure, we'll try it out. And the it's a family account, I guess. So yeah, YouTube Premium, that's what it's called. The other reason why we have YouTube Premium is not just because of Logan and I. It's because Danielle uses one of my YouTube accounts for all kinds of things in her English classes. As you can imagine, there are lectures, readings, all kinds of things that she uses YouTube for, and she doesn't want to mess with advertisements in her classroom. So we actually have a legit reason, even though it didn't maybe start out that way. So so yeah, YouTube Premium is the bomb. Um, yeah. Um, so anyway, the interview earlier today. Uh, thanks, Jack. I really enjoyed it. Scott Kinnemore, he's a hell of a nice guy. He's a great writer. Um, if you missed it, it's I got my lights off in here for the most part for mood. Edge of the Wire by Scott Kinnemore. But he's also written several interesting zombie books, and that means a lot coming from me. And, and it was an interesting conversation about cosmic horror and how he relates zombies to cosmic horror. His new one is not a zombie book. It's a kind of a sci-fi AI horror type thing that is really good. But can you guys hear the train? There, it just stopped. Uh, I am sure that there are people in this neighborhood who hate the sound of the train, but I love it. It goes by about 2 blocks from here and sometimes sounds like it's right next door, but I hear it all during the day, I hear it during the night, but especially at night, Um, there's just something about it, you know. I love the sound of the train. You guys have probably heard me talk about a book I have called The Dictionary of Obscure Sorrows. And if you're not familiar with it, what it is this the author, um, what's his name? Let me go back. Oh yes, John Koenig, Koenig, spent years, I guess, thinking up words for emotions that we have that we don't really have words for. Um, I've got the hard copy. It's beautiful. Um, I've sent a copy to a friend or two over the past couple of years. But once when the Kindle version went on sale, I bought that too, so that I could highlight. Anyway, the nice thing about Kindle is it's searchable, so I don't have to pound through the entire book trying to find the word that I want to tell you guys. Yep, here it is. Eminor- Eminorisis. Saying that right? Amenorosis. I think that's closer. And this word means the half forlorn, half escapist ache of a train whistle howling in the distance at night. Um, that's one of the highlighted portions of the book for me. I'll read you a couple of others real quick because you guys really should buy this book. Um, Keraslicosis. I'm sure that's wrong. The moment you look around and realize that you're currently happy, consciously trying to savor the feeling which prompts your intellect to identify it, pick it apart, put it in context, where it will slowly dissolve until it's a little more than an aftertaste. Here's a good one. I don't remember, Dave. I think it's like 5 to 8 a month. I'm not sure. Uh, Oakleyism. The awareness of how fundamentally limited your senses are. Noticing how little of your field of vision is ever in focus, how few colors you're able to see, how few sounds you're able to hear, and how intrusively your brain fills in the blanks with its own cartoonish extrapolations, which makes you wish you could experience the whole of reality instead of only ever catching a tiny glimpse of it, to just once step back from the keyhole and finally open the door. There's a bit of cosmic, perhaps not horror in that, but perhaps a sense of cosmic awe. Um, you know, Superman can hear and see sounds and colors and hear outside the spectrum of a normal human being. And of course, so can other animals. And it's interesting how many sounds and colors are out there that we just can't um, hear or see. And here's one that I really like: slip fast, longing to disappear completely, to melt into a crowd and become invisible, so that you can take in the world without having to take part in it. Free to wander through conversations without ever leaving footprints, free to dive deep into things without worrying about making a splash. I'm hearing the theme to The Incredible Hulk in my head after that one. I'll give you one more. Hopefully, I've convinced you to buy the book. Do I have a Barnes& and Noble near me? Probably about 45 minutes away. Um, excellent. All right, let me start over. Excellensis. Yeah, there we go. The tendency to give up trying to talk about an experience because people are unable to relate to it, whether through envy or pity or mere foreignness, which allows it to drift away from the rest of your story until it feels out of place, almost mythical, wandering restlessly in the fog, no longer even looking for a place to land. So anyway, the most famous of these, I lied. I will read. I will read one more. Yep, exactly, Dave. I will read one more, and this is the most famous word from the book. Uh, and I'll be honest, this is the word that made me aware of the book in the first place. Sonder, Sonder, the awareness that everyone has a story. But more than that, I'll read all three paragraphs because I think it's important. And I think about this often when I'm on the road or, walking the dog or, hey, watching a TV show and in the background there's a highway, okay? And there's cars going back and forth. And maybe I'm watching a TV show from pick a year, the year 2000. But these cars are going back and forth in the uh, in the show, and this is a real backdrop, right? This isn't a set. So those are real people driving past in those cars. And I think, okay, where is that person right now? What's their story? The thought that all of those dots on the screen, that's a real person, or hopefully is still a real person. What's their story? How, what are they doing right now? Are they happy? Are they not happy? When I walk especially at night, and a plane goes by, I uh, I look at the plane overhead and I think how it's easy in the modern world to get used to things, right? You can't let yourself do that, otherwise you forget that there's magic in the world. And by magic, I don't mean Harry Potter magic. I mean the magic of the wonder of life and not allowing yourself ever to take all the interesting things in life for granted and not allowing yourself to take life itself for granted. But back to the point, looking up in the sky at night as a plane goes by, I think way up there, right where I'm pointing my finger at the time, there are people in that plane. There are people up there in this dot up in the air that I can barely see, and some of them are reading, some of them are watching a movie on their iPhones, some of them are asleep, and who are they? That's what Sonder is all about. You are the main character, the protagonist, the star at the center of your own unfolding story. You're surrounded by your supporting cast, friends and family hanging in your immediate orbit. Scattered a little further out, a network of acquaintances who drift in and out of contact over the years. But there in the background, faint and out of focus, are the extras, the random passerby, each living a life as vivid and complex as your own. That's the thing to realize right there. They carry on invisibly around you, bearing the accumulated weight of their own ambitions, friends, routines, mistakes, worries, triumphs, and inherited craziness. When your life moves on to the next scene, there's flickers in place, wrapped in a cloud of backstory and inside jokes and characters strung together with countless other stories you'll never be able to see, that you'll never know exist, in which you might appear only once, as an extra, sipping coffee in the background, as a blur of traffic passing on the highway, as a lighted window at dusk. And that's the inverse of this, isn't it? While I'm looking up at a plane, wondering about the people on it, and realizing everybody there is another human being with their own story, their own thoughts and ambitions and everything else. Or that car that's going down the highway in a movie that's 22 years old or 2 years old or whatever, or a photograph of a highway, whatever, or passing me on the highway. There's a million examples. My point is that the inverse is true too. I'm just a passerby in their main story. You know, uh, I'm just a flicker of headlights going past them. I'm an extra in their movie, just as they're an extra in mine. So, so yeah. Uh, hey, Chaz, Brian, Darren. So anyway, I didn't even know I was going to talk about the Dictionary of Obscure Sorrows, but there you go. Thanks, Chaz. Well, guess what I got? Okay, so I had, I had, I apologize if I talked about this last Thursday, but I had the worst time in at Necronomicon that I've had since I started going, and I don't mean that in the sense of I had a bad time. I had a wonderful time. Absolutely love Necronomicon. No, what I mean is, um, I lost my earbuds, I lost my phone charger, I lost my laptop charger, and I broke my glasses. The stem on my glasses broke. So I've been putting off visiting the eye doctor, and I wouldn't have put it off if I'd have known it was this painless these days anyway, in 2024. It's been 6 years since I went. And I went yesterday, and I thought I'm gonna be dealing with these broken glasses sitting on my nose for the next 2 weeks until I get new glasses in. Well, come to find out, Danielle says that our insurance covers two pairs of glasses, and so one of them can be contacts, of course. And I was like, I used to have contacts when I was young, and so I was like, yeah. I said to the guy, I want to try contacts again. Well, knocked me over with a feather. It used to be that, okay, 2 weeks later, back in my day, 2 weeks later, you get your contacts, and you better take good care of those things for the next couple of years, because if you lose it, it's lost. Well, I contacts these days apparently are one a day, and then you throw them away. And yeah, they're very freeing. First of all, you don't have that glasses tunnel vision. So I am getting glasses for my second pair, and I'm waiting on those. But I'm just so happy that, first of all, I have contacts again, and my vision's much better than it was with the glasses even. And I didn't have to wait that period of time. So I don't know if you if you guys care about that, but you got to hear it anyway. I'm very happy about my one a day and then throw them away contacts. So, and it was like riding a bike, putting them in and taking them out. even though it's been like, oh my God, 25 years? I don't even know. I can't remember. Um, this, no, they're not expensive. If they were, I sure wouldn't be able to afford them. Well, we have good, they're not expensive, Chaz, with our insurance. We have Blue Cross. Danielle has Blue Cross through, the school, and I'm on her policy. And I was amazed at how cheap they were. Um, so yeah, and it's nice that there's a lot of, Kim, you probably remember this, if you've had contacts a while, but there's a lot of pressure too because they're nearly invisible, so they're really easy to lose, you know. But if I lose a contact now, which I don't plan on doing, I'm just like, okay, well, I lost a day worth. So, um, yeah, Alan, there are some people that they don't work for. But anyway, if you're new, if this is your first night here, you're like, okay, we went from Dictionary of Obscure Sorrows to Contacts. I have been reading this, Crypt of the Moon Spider by Nathan Ballingrud, and this is really good so far. Um, and it's a novella. It's only $4.99 on Kindle, I believe. Nathan sent this to me, and I really recommend it. Okay, here's it. You don't have to you don't have to take my word for it. Oh, I like a certain kind of glasses, Chaz, and the new ones that I selected. Uh, I like the way they look, and more importantly, I like the feel of them on my face better than the old ones. But anyway, okay, Laird Barron says, Crypt of the Moon Spider is a gothic fantasy where madness nests within madness of emotional vistas that are as bleak as bleached bones. Ballingrud's immense talent shines, cold and furious. Um, Owen King, one of Stephen King's kids. Crypt of the Moon Spider is a superb and unnerving work of science fiction. Read you the synopsis here. In a cave beneath the dense forests and streams on the surface of the moon, a gargantuan spider once lived. Its silk granted its first worshippers immense faculties of power and awe. It's now 1923, and Veronica Brinkley is touching down on the moon for her intake at the barrel-filled home for treatment of the melancholy. A renowned facility, its treatments have been lauded by many. All it takes is a little spider silk in the amygdala, maybe a strand or two in the prefrontal cortex, and perhaps an inch in the hippocampus to expunge all those troublesome thoughts and ideas. But patients aren't the only ones with trouble on their minds, and although the spider's been dead for years, its denizens are not. Someone or something is up to no good, and Veronica just might be the cause. Yeah. And the other thing, yeah, it does sound truly horrifying. It reminds me of darker Ray Bradbury, perhaps. Oh, Paul's got a blurb on the front. Paul Tremblay says, a wicked, pulpy, hideous, gorgeous phantasmagoria. So, I haven't read his Martian novel, The Strange, yet, but based on this, I'll probably get that next and get him on the show. So, uh, wait a minute. I think maybe they sent it to me. I can't remember. I'll have to look. I have to look later. So anyway, it's obviously inexpensive since it's a novella. So I highly recommend it to you guys. Um, Caveat: I'm halfway through because I started it yesterday, but I don't think there's anything to worry about. I've read a lot of Nathan's short stories, and he's damn he's a damn good writer. So, oh, the third expedition, Chaz from Marsh. Oh my God, that's the one. Uh, also titled Mars is Heaven, right? That that is an extremely scary story. Um, if you haven't read it, you should. Um, Bradbury was not just a nostalgic writer; he's a sci-fi writer. He was a horror writer. He's hard to pin down. He's in his own genre almost. But that particular story, um, I did a lot of highlighting in that one. I'm umming because I can't think of a way to talk about it without spoiling it. So yeah. Darren says, "Am I a fan of Thomas Gotti?" Yes, I am. Yeah. Um, yeah. Tom is he's a really great writer. I've got these here that were just sent to me. Let's see. Okay, Crampton. I need to turn on some light. Crampton is this is the one. This is the X-Files one, I think. Yeah. All right. This is Crampton by Thomas Ligotti and Brandon Trends. And the short version is back in the day, Thomas Ligotti wrote a screenplay for The X-Files, which was, I believe, deemed too dark for The X-Files. Go figure. And they recently sent me this one also, Thomas Ligotti, Pictures of Apocalypse. Look at the inside of this thing. It's pretty cool. Uh, Chiropetra Press is proud to publish Pictures of Apocalypse, a new work by horror legend Thomas Ligotti. There you go. That's all you needed to know, right? Um, this volume is a cycle of lyric and narrative poems that share the common theme of what Ligotti designates as the great going, from both individual and collective perspectives. Um, how many? So it's a book of verse, but it's by Thomas Ligotti. And then I got this here, Michigan Basement. And they were also kind enough a while back to send me a couple of LPs of John Paget reading Ligotti's stuff, which my record player's way over there, or I would show you. I'll get up if you guys want me to see them. But they're very cool. Yeah, he stopped writing for a long time. And I don't know that he per se is writing a lot right now, or any. For all I know, that was trunk stuff. I haven't, or just stuff that had been sitting on his computer for a long time. I haven't asked John Paget. John's real close with him. But yeah, if you haven't read the Conspiracy Against the Human Race, his nonfiction work, you definitely should. All right, if you want to see the records, hang on a second here. I gotta roll out of frame. me a second. You can see my small LP collection. There we go. Flanked by Ghostface. All right. Here's my Thomas Ligotti record. Kidding. Superman 2 soundtrack. So there we go. Let me find a place to put these down. All right. This one is really cool. The Red Tower. Thomas Ligotti, I have a special plan for this world, this degenerate little town. Look at all that artwork and everything with it, too. Very, very, very cool. Read by John Padgett. Score by Chris Bozzone. Art by Jason Barnett. A Cadabra Records production. Cadabra does a lot of this stuff. If you're interested in this kind of thing, just Google Cadabra Records, and they have more than just Thomas Ligotti stuff. All right, here's another one. Thomas Ligotti, The Small People. That's pretty cool. Here's the inside. And then John signed the back for me. And what do we have here? Okay, there's The Dark Knight. There you go. Present from my son. I have more than I remembered. Thomas Ligotti Gas Station Carnivals. Check that out. Isn't that wild? That's great. And here's the inside. And all kinds of information on the inside. I guess sleeve, what do we call it? And here's the back. I just think they're insanely cool, and I'm just really grateful that for some reason they think I'm important enough to get these for free. The Bungalow House. Now that is a chilling story. And here's the inside. The inside of the house, you might say. Pretty cool. And I've got, what do I have here? Yeah, here's a John Padgett album, Origami Dreams. Here's a John Padgett album, 20 Simple Steps to Ventriloquism. All right, let me say something about that, especially, yeah, Cadabra books. And Chaz, I'm talking to you especially too. If you have to read John's book, The Secret of Ventriloquism, not just the short story, which you can actually find on Lovecraft eZine, but just read the book. And it's also on Audible, and it's read by John, who's a wonderful narrator. All right, yeah, I'm not surprised, Chaz. But if you haven't read, whoever hasn't read the John's book, The Secret of Ventriloquism, it's very, very eerie. Oh yeah, I'm glad he signed your copy. That's great. That'll be worth money someday. Learn ventriloquism in just 20 simple steps. That puppet's eyes are like, what the fuck? Okay, is this Cadabra still? Yeah, this is Cadabra. They sent me H.P. Lovecraft, The Picture in the House, and I haven't even had time to open that one and listen to it yet. But look how cool it is. Cadabra Records they do some amazing things. They really do. And I've got to talk about them more often. Um, what's this here? Oh, and I didn't even get the one that I didn't even get my Fog, the movie The Fog album from over there. I should have, but Kelly Young sent me that a couple of years ago, and it's the soundtrack to The Fog. It's starts off with John Houseman's story, like in the beginning of the movie, but the artwork for this album is just incredible. So, Kelly, if you're listening, thanks, buddy. Yeah. Brian says the eZine podcast where Paget brought out the doll was something else. Yeah, John's a really, really talented guy. So anyway, if you got a few bucks to spare, you could do worse than spending it at the Cadabra Records website. And I don't think any of that is available. For example, on Audible electronically. I don't think it is. I wouldn't swear to it. Maybe somebody can look that up if you get time. But I certainly wouldn't have this many albums from Cadabra if they hadn't sent them to me. But I just feel like the BookHouse is just richer for it. Something about you just put on an album, you don't skip, you just sit there and you enjoy the entire album, whether it's music or a monologue or whatnot. Um, but you take care of those records. I'm no expert, but I can't help but think that they're going to do nothing but go up in value over the years. Um, because I don't think they're. I shouldn't say this. I think it's a limited run on all of them. But again, that's something that I wouldn't. Don't quote me on. But these things will go up in value. They're not paying me a damn thing to say all of this. Um, I promise. Are the records colored as well? I can't remember. Let me see if I can pull up. There we go. There we go. There we go. In fact, now I'm in the mood to listen to another Legati story tonight. Yep, look at this. That if you can tell that that's a blue. This is from the bungalow house, which I don't know if you're gonna get one, start with the bungalow house. I think. Now I do know that there's a John reads the bungalow house somewhere online. I think. I don't know. Anyway, that's Cadabra Records, and like I said, they haven't paid me anything to say all of this. I believe in them. They're really doing something beautiful. It's not just about the content, which is obviously incredibly important. The story itself and and the narration itself, but also the packaging and the presentation. They're creating works of art to complement the stories inside. So, talked about Moon Spider. Do you guys have comfort books that you go back to again and again? You know what I mean? Like For me, there are some books that I've read over and over. One of them is, well, there are many of them, and it depends on what mood I'm in, which genre mood I'm in. But if it's detective or noir, if it's a noir kind of mood, and I don't want to read something new, I want to reread something. I've read When the Sacred General Closes probably 7 or 8 times in my life. Yeah, Lord of the Rings. Oh, Ghost Story. Yeah, good one. Good one. Lord of the Rings, definitely. Um, what else here? I've got a few over here that, of course, we're talking fiction versus nonfiction. I've read Walden quite a few times. Um, this one here is kind of interesting. It's called The Night People by Jack Finney. This is the same Jack Finney who wrote mostly science fiction. Like I forget the name of those two really famous time travel novels that he wrote. Dave says, sometimes I just need to see the book. Yep, time and again. Thanks, Jess. Sometimes I just need to see the book. Um, just seeing it reminds me of the story or person who gave me the book. Very true. Um, this particular book is set and written in around 1976, as maybe you can tell from those lovely bell bottoms there. And I would not call this a great book. This isn't When the Sacred General Closes. It's not Lord of the Rings or anything, but it's really, really interesting in its own way. And I've read it several times, and it's basically about, because it resonates, it's basically about this young lawyer in 1976, San Francisco, I think it is, and he starts to feel pretty dissatisfied. Is this all there is? That kind of feeling that I'm sure all of us have had at one time or another, but it really grows on him. It won't let him alone. He lives set this up a little bit. He lives in an apartment complex, and they're not huge apartments, so he and his girlfriend, they used to share an apartment before they moved here, and now he's got an apartment right next to hers, so they can both have their own space but yet be together whenever they want. And they're friends with a married couple who are their age, who live in the apartment complex as well, and they're always like after work. The two guys are young lawyers in the same firm, and they carpool, doing you know, the trek inside their metal coffins on the way to work every day. Uh, but Lou, I think his name is, yeah, Lou just gets very dissatisfied with life, but he doesn't really say much about it. It's just sort of internal, and he can't sleep. Yeah, Invasion of the Body Snatchers, which makes this book sort of a weird anomaly. But he's a really good writer. Jack Finney is. Um, so Lou starts going out at night. It's Lew. Lou starts going out at night and just marveling at the freeway that's real close to their apartment complex, and thinking how incredibly busy it is with bumper to bumper traffic during the day. But yet when he's out at 2 in the morning, 3 in the morning, for minutes at a time, not a car comes along. And he starts just doing weird things like he'll lie down on the blacktop, until he hears a car coming. And he's basically he's not doing anything wrong. He's just exploring the night, you might say. And then um, the others in the two couples, he starts to introduce it to them, and things just go from there. But it's just sort of this, um, what is it all about? Am I really just gonna, be a lawyer for the rest of my life? And things are things aren't bad, but they aren't great. There's no magic in my life. I was talking about magic a few minutes ago. That's where he basically is. He doesn't really phrase it that way in the novel, but there's no magic in his life. He does love his girlfriend. He loves his friends. His job isn't bad. He is an attorney, but he's just looking for something more, and it's that kind of book. Yeah, absolutely, Kim. So anyway, it's a kind of a different book, and it's very very set in the 70s. There's this one part near the beginning where he takes a tape recorder when he's at his girlfriend's apartment one night, and he's just talking, and he sort of does a real like 5 minute to 10 minute recording, time capsule recording, talking about what are things going to be like in 100 years. And but for me right now, I'm living here in 1976, so I do not think it's available on Kindle or anything like that. Uh, it's decades out of print, but it shouldn't be too hard for you to get one if you want one, and I'm sure it'll be cheap enough. So I've been wanting to talk about that for a while. The third level, Darren. Yeah, I believe I have, but it's been a long time. He also has a collection of time travel short stories. I think it's an even dozen. Can't remember for sure. So what's everybody got going on tomorrow? Is that your last day at work? Do you work weekends? Well, what's going on for you? Um, my poor wife has been sick all week with a really, really bad cold of some sort. Not COVID, otherwise she wouldn't be better yet. But oh, hey, happy birthday to Chaz's daughter. Awesome. Yeah, happy birthday. Um, she's got uh, most, except for one Monday a month. Their school does 4-day weeks, so she almost always gets Saturday, Sunday, and Monday off. Well, Saturday morning hit, and she was just in really horrible shape, and I went to the drugstore and got her some Dayquil and NyQuil and everything, and she was on the couch or in bed all Saturday, all Sunday, all Monday, and she did something she never does, which is called into work Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. And finally today she's feeling better. And so I'm happy about that. She's got a 1-day work week tomorrow, but I'm sure she would rather not have been sick. Uh, I talked to I talked to a friend in New York, and they were telling me that it got into the mid 70s today with cloud cover. And man, I am so jealous. It has cooled down here in Texas a little bit, so it was only 94 today. Last couple of weeks it's been hitting over 100 consistently. I am just so freaking tired of it. So, yep, happy birthday to Chaz's daughter. Do you mind if we ask how old she's going to be? Um, If that's too personal, no worries. But tell her we said a happy birthday. All of them from the Thursday night gang at Lovecraft eZine. So 12. One more year to the teens, man. So yeah, that The Night People is a kind of a comfort book for me. I've read several times. Uh, Nonfiction, The Demon Haunted World by Carl Sagan. If you haven't read it, this is a book that and I mean everybody should read. Whether you're a reader, whether you read a lot or not, this is a book that everyone should read. Oh, she does? Oh man, that's so sweet. She loves the zine, always asks about everyone. Oh man, that is so sweet. That makes my day. Thank you. Um, I've read, and I know I published it, but I published it because I loved it, and I wanted a hell of a lot of people to discover it, which is exactly what happened. I've read The Sea of Ash by Scott Thomas several times, probably 5 or 6 times, to be honest. And the audiobook of it is phenomenal. Uh, Lehman Kessler did a really great job on that. So, how are all those horror weirdos? Still weird, Annabelle. We're still weird. Let's see here. Okay, speaking of time travel, this this is, in my opinion, which is subjective, of course, the best time travel novel I've ever read. And there are some great ones out there, and that's a very subjective statement to make, and I say it with that in mind. But it's about this guy who discovers that he can travel through time, without a machine. That he's just got this ability to do it. And at first, he basically is an explorer of sorts. I mean, he explores America, before um, Europeans came and tried to conquer everything. And after a while, he's thinking, is this what's the purpose of this? Is just an accident that I can do this? And this book is set in the 70s. By that, of course, I mean it's copyright 1973, and the narrator is a guy who's living from the 50s to the 60s into the 70s, and he's friends with this young man that can travel through time. And yeah, the Demon Haunted World will, yeah, yep. There'll be an Autumn Cthulhu too. I'm sorry it's taken so long. Um, I've got a few emails out there to people to see if they'd like to publish it, because publishing and editing is uh, a lot of work. A Kickstarter is a lot of work. I wish I could just fund a book, but I can't. Um, I've got some feelers out there, in other words, and if no one wants to do it, then at some point I will bite the bullet and do a Kickstarter and do another Autumn Cthulhu book. So yes, um, and I could have had it done before now, but I have limited energy, and I've just been focusing on the podcast for a long time now, as you guys know, and promoting other people, other writers and creators. I am doing something a little here. This is a brand new thing. You guys probably know that the reason why this is called the Lovecraft Using Podcast is because it sprang from it started off as only an online magazine with some really great fiction. I feel the thought behind it when I started it in 2011 was, what if you could read some great cosmic horror, weird fiction, whatever, but for the reader, it's free to read online, but it's every bit as good as what you would find in an anthology, for example. That was the idea behind it. And I think it went pretty well. Um, but it is a lot of work running a magazine, and even going from monthly to quarterly, I just got to a point where I couldn't do it anymore. So on the website, if you go there, if you go to lovecraftezine.com, you'll see now at the top where um, there is a Lovecraft eZine, sort of magazine. The classic is what I wrote from 2011 to 2016. And I have a new placeholder page for news stories. And what I'm going to do is invite only. I'm going to slowly just it'll be a magazine of sorts, but an online magazine only. And I might publish a story once every 2 months, no set schedule, but with um, from writers like Laird and others of that caliber. I talked to Laird about it this morning, and he's willing to do it, and I'm sure others will be too. So, imagine you go to Lovecraft Easy and there's a brand new Lead Baron story there that you haven't read, and it doesn't cost you anything to read it. So yeah. Hey Jeff, thanks, appreciate it. Um, eZine cups. There are eZine mugs and cups already at T Public. But before another week is out, hopefully I'm going to have a store on the Patreon, and I'm going to have a store on YouTube and I'm going to be adding to it more than what's just available um, right now on T Public. Let me give you the link. There we go. So if you go there, the first several, there's a couple of other designs on there that if you buy there, I'll get a small referral fee. But you can see the Lovecraft Easing podcast one, and it'll default to a T-shirt, but you can. Let me see if I can figure out how to work this damn thing. Yeah, that's the Trevor Henderson shirt right there. There's several. Let me. Okay, there's several of them that can be like a coffee mug or a cup. For example, who asked about the cups? Nightmare. There's a Lovecraft Easing podcast mug. Man, that's available right now at T Public. And if you don't want a mug, it could be a cup, it could be a mouse pad, it could be a T-shirt, um, and so on. So right now I'm using T Public, and I'm sure I won't delete that store or anything, but it'll be easier to have it on YouTube and on Patreon, where well, obviously, everyone watching this, you're on YouTube already. I think the way it works is that it would be like right below or a little bit below the video that you're watching. And then I know many of you are on Patreon too, and that makes it easy as well. So, I've got a lot of ideas. One of them is um, a Patreon only T-shirt or mug or whatever, where they're going to only be available for people who are patrons. But of course, there's going to be a slew of things that are available to everyone. So, can I screen share? Let's see here. Okay. Yeah, but that's not the screen I wanted to share. Let's see. Sorry, learning as I go. Learning as I go. Oh, yeah, you guys can see that. So, yeah, male fit, female fit, so on and so forth. Let's go back here. Yeah, let me know if you guys can see this or not. I think you can. Okay, that's the Trevor Henderson um, design right there. And that's the one on the mug that you just saw. And you can do a lot of things with it, you know, that kind of thing. Obviously change sizes. Looks like this is only $16 right now at TeePublic. So, and then there's the old I'm Mad for the Lovecraft eZine podcast one. I don't know how I'll manage the one for Patreons, but I would hope I'd be able to do it. If I can't afford to do it free, then I would hope for to do it at least a really reduced price. Here's the one without a picture, which is kind of cool. There's a mouse pad right there, by God. So, thank you for kicking me in the butt with that question, Nightmare. Um, but yes. Yeah, TeePublic, they actually do run a lot of sales. Do they have elephant fit? You don't need elephant fit. They have many different sizes. Goes from small to 5XL, it looks like. So I wish I could find the button where, oh crap, it's right here. All right, forgive me, we're gonna do another screen share. Here we go. We're screen sharing. We're screen sharing. Okay, so there's a coffee cup. There's a sticker. You can get a sticker for 2 whole bucks. Let everybody know what kind of weirdo you are for watching and listening and hanging out with us Lovecraft eZine people. See, yeah, okay, so you scroll down here, and there's the cup that I just showed you in real life. $11. That's not bad for a coffee mug, honestly. Oh, and here you go, Nightmare. Here's the cup, travel mug. There it is. 3D coming at you. It's actually pretty cool. Huh, that's pretty cool looking. Of course, you start off with a nice work of art like Trevor did for me, and it's gonna look good on almost anything. Oh, thank you, Chaz. Appreciate it. All right, we've been. Alan is looking at his watch, thinking how early he has to be up in the morning. Thank you again, Alan, for sharing your room with me at Necronomicon. Uh, you're welcome, Nightmare, and thank you for for asking about it. It's I feel like I've been a little behind because of Necronomicon and because of I had to come home a day early. I think I said that last week, and I needed to recover. Just leave it at that, I guess. I, I've I've got a lot of pain sometimes, but you know what? There are a lot of people who have it worse, and I try not to ever forget that. So, all right. Anything else you guys want me to talk about? So we've been doing this for an hour and 7 minutes. This has been great. You guys, I can't tell you how much it means to me that you guys share your Thursday nights with me. As you know, I started this as an experiment a couple months ago, 3 months ago, something like that. And I didn't. I thought, okay, maybe we'll get a curious one or two people, and then it'll really trickle down to zero from there. But it's really been great, and it's a different feel than the Sunday podcasts, or like earlier today with Scott Kennemore. That was a Sunday podcast clone, interviewing. Oh, you guys are really gonna love this Sunday's episode. Um, that's what Victor Frankenstein said. Just a little experiment. Yeah, and now you guys are trapped here. You're trapped. You're trapped with me. All right, so we're not going to have a guest this Sunday because we're going to talk about highlights and amazing moments from Necronomicon. But if you weren't there, it's not to make you sad or anything. We just want to give you an idea of what it's like, so the next time, um, you can be there with us. Save up and be there because you got 2 years to save up, right? So that's a lot. That's a lot of time. Um, and if you were there, I think you'll enjoy it. And either way, that's not as usual on the podcast. That's not all we'll talk about. Good night, Chaz. Yeah, Dave, that was a long time ago, wasn't it, man? That was like a decade ago. Wow. Good night, Chaz. Um, uh, but yeah, you should enjoy this Sunday, I hope. So anyway, I'm gonna sign off. But I mean this from the bottom of my heart. I appreciate you guys being here with me on Thursday nights and of course Sundays. But it's it's just a different. It's sort of a more personal feel. Um, so I will see you guys all on Sunday. Thanks for not only the financial support that you guys give me if you're a Patreon, but thank you for all the emotional support, the comments and the emails and all that stuff. I really appreciate it. So, you guys have a good night's sleep, and we'll see you on Sunday. Good night.